Sara Mea Shana ve'Esrim Shana ve'Sheva Shanim Shnei Chayei Sara. And the years of Sara were 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. These were the years of the life of Sara. And as we mentioned in the Parish class on Tuesday, these last words, Shnei Chayei Sara, I think we mentioned it in the Parish class. The last three, no, I don't think we did. Shnei Chayei Sara, what are those words coming to teach? I mean, we were being told that Sara was 127 years when she died. And that's how the pasuk begins. The years of Sara, the life of Sara was 127 years. What exactly is the pasuk doing when it says Shnei Chayei Sara? These were the years of the life of Sara. So the Netziv, Rabbi Naftali through the Berlin Zatzal, in his commentary Hamikdavar, says that the word Chaim, life, actually has two connotations or two meanings. One meaning is life in contrast to no life, being alive, years of life. It also is used in the context of not just life, but a joyous life. Not just living, but to live joyously. So Chaim also is used in a connotation of joy. Now, and with that, the Netziv comes to say that the word Shnei Chayei Sara, so the pasuk first starts off, how many years of life, actual life, did she have? 127 years. Shnei Chayei Sara, these were the years of the life of Sara. These were years of joy. Sara had joy all those years of her life. Now this fits in very well to another comment on these words of Shnei Chayei Sara, the years of the life of Sara. Rashi in his commentary on these words Shnei Chayei Sara, the years of the life of Sara, Kulan Shavin L'Taiva. All of them were the same for good. They were all good years. What does this mean? What is the Torah, according to Rashi, coming to bring out? According to Rashi, these words, Shnei Chayei Sara, the years of the life of Sara, are coming to say all her years were good. What does that mean? So the commentary of Drasha explains that actually it sounds a little strange to say about Sarah's life, all of them were l'taiva, all of them were for good. Sarah had a very, very rough life. Kidnapped twice, childless, her child, threatened by his half-brother, Yishmael. Sarah dies, actually, out of the shock of hearing about the Akedah, as mentioned before. And you wouldn't necessarily call her the woman who had every day of her life was good. But that's what I was coming to say. Kulin Shavin L'Taiva. They were all good. Because with all her challenges, she always kept her emunah, her faith, her bitachon and trust in God. And everything was good. She was the kind of person that no matter what life brought her, whatever challenges life brought, everything was good. Because she had that tremendous faith and trust in Hashem. And therefore, that's what they're trying to stress. She lived 127 years. Shnei Chayei Sara. They were all good. All those 127 years were good. With all her tests and all her challenges and all her problems, everything was good. She accepted everything with joy, and everything in life for her was good because of her faith and trust in Hashem. And this fits in very well with what the Netziv is saying. Shnei Chayei Sara, the word Chai, life, here doesn't just mean life, it means joy. And that's the point. The years of the life of Sarah's years were joyful. And they were all good because they were joyful. Since she was so full of joy because of her trust that everything that Hashem brought upon her was for her good. Therefore, everything was good and life was full of joy. Now, there is a medrash that says the following. Rabbi Kiva was sitting and giving a sermon, giving a lecture. And the congregation, the audience, was dozing off. Can you believe that? Dozing off in the middle of the rabbi's sermon. So he wanted to wake them up. Omar ma rasa Esther shetimlach al sheva ve'esr medina. Why did it come about that Esther became the queen over 127 countries. If we go to the Megillas Esther, the book of Esther, we're introduced to Achashverosh, and we're told that Achashverosh ruled over 127 countries. Well, once Esther became his queen, she also became the queen of 127 countries. So how did it come about that Esther should rule over 127 countries? Ella Tavai Esther Shaisa Baspita Shal Sara. Esther, who is the granddaughter of Sara, should come. Shachaisa Mea ve'Esrim b'Sheva, who lived 127 years. V'Simlech al Mea ve'Esrim b'Sheva Medinos, and she should rule over 127 countries. So how did Esther become the queen of 127 countries? Because she's the granddaughter of Sara. Sara lived for 127 years, and therefore Esther merited to be the queen over 127 countries. I mean, Sara lived 127 years. Those are the years that Hashem gave her. Why does that become a reason or a merit somehow that her great-great-great-granddaughter will become the queen over 127 countries? Now, clearly, the point has to be, it was just because Sarah lived 127 years, but because she lived 127 years at her fullest. And that was a merit for her descendant. But what did Sarah do? What was so unique about Sarah? We don't find this being said about other people. Is it because no one lived their life as full of Sarah as Sarah did? So I went to hear an explanation that actually the merit of Sarah was, as we just said, Kul Hashem L'Taiva. They were all the same for good. They were all good. Because Sarah accepted everything for good. Everything was good by Sarah. No matter what the challenges were, no matter what the difficulties were, she had trust and faith in Hashem so strong that everything was good. Life was joyous. That's a merit. That was the merit that now gave her descendant the ability to be a ruler of 127 countries. And the merit of Sarah's 127 joyous years of accepting everything from Hashem, her descendant merited to be the queen of 127 countries. Now, the question still remains on this medrash. So now we have a connection between the two. We have some kind of a reason why they're connected. But why was this the message that Rabbi Akiva was giving to his students? Why did he choose this? Why did he choose this? Was of all the trivia that he maybe wanted to say, why did he pick this? If that's what he was doing. So there is a commentary called Yalkut Yehuda, who has his own explanation to what was the message of Rabbi Akiva to his students. And I'm actually just going to take part of his explanation. He explains that the audience, the congregation falling asleep, was not just because, that's the way it is. It was actually a symptom of the times. Rabbi Akiva lived in the time of the ancient Roman rule over the land of Israel. The ancient Romans were terribly cruel to the Jewish people. Very difficult decrees, and at the end we know Rabbi Akiva was murdered by them. Life in Eretz Yisrael at this point in the time after the Second Beis Hamikdash was destroyed was very, very, very difficult. The Jews were very dejected because of so much suffering they were going through. Their dozing off was a sign or a symptom of their feeling dejected over their state of being. So Rabbi Akiva wanted to inspire them by saying this. Look at Sarah. She went through so many difficulties in life, but she took everything in a positive way. Everything was good. Everything was positive because it all comes from Hashem. She took all her challenges that could have gotten her down, and she didn't let that. All of her years were good. Everything was good. Life was joyous because she accepted all the challenges of Hashem, understanding that they were for her good. That was the message to the people. You're suffering a lot. But look, in the merit of how Sarah accepted her suffering, not just accepted it, but accepted it with joy, and life was joyous to her with all her suffering, and the merit that and look what was merited from that, realize that with all the suffering you have and as dejected you are, if you can accept what Hashem wants and live with joy and live with happiness, which is what we all need to be able to live and produce and to move forward, look at what kind of merit that is. Look at the merit that it gave for Sarah. Because all those years were good, and everything was good, and her life was a life of joy. The merit was her descendant became a ruler over 127 countries, corresponding to the years of Sarah's life. Realize that with all your suffering, if you can accept what Hashem wants and accept it with love and accept it with joy, and live life with joy, even under these terrible circumstances, you'll have tremendous merit, as Sarah did, for yourself and for your descendants. Have a wonderful Shabbos.